Hello there, welcome to my channel. Thank you for joining me. I'm going to go through the Harry Kane stuff that's come out yesterday, last night at the 10:30 cut off back page spread of this stuff, which I just find even more fascinating because I'm like, you're a national newspaper putting out stuff which is clearly not right. It is clearly not right. I've never seen anything like. I keep going about the transfer market in terms of the reporting and the media. It's just, misinformation stuff, and I'm not being harsh. Everyone is like guilty of this. Everyone's guilty of it, but it blows my mind sometimes. So we're going to go through some of the articles that came out from national reporters. We're going to go through my one, of course, and we're going to look at another one that came out today in the Telegraph. And then there's a tweet there I want to read as well. Although I might have discarded the tweet. No, it's still there. Okay. The Telegraph. James Dunker is a Manchester correspondent, as is, funnily enough, Jamie Jackson. And I think there's another two others who did the same article with the same line, all cover Manchester. Manchester United and Manchester City. It's strange that a story involving Spurs and the inner workings of Spurs and a message that's been passed down from owner to chairman, as we'll see here, has gone to Manchester for some reason rather than the London reporters. You'd feel that they'd be the ones to receive it, but no, it's gone to the Manchester one. So we'll have a little read of the line. We're not going to go into too much, quite a lot to get through, so we'll kind of relatively skim. Daniel Levy has told he must sell Harry Kane if he cannot persuade the England captain to sign a new contract. Joe Lewis is understood to have informed Levy not to let Kane run down his contract and leave as a free agent. Sources have indicated Levy cannot convince a striker to extend his deal. If they cannot, Lewis would expect the club to sell rather than forego a huge fee. Club value him £100 million. Bayern Munich are preparing a third offer and don't believe they want striker wants to sign a new contract. Of course they don't. And Spurs are willing to pay as much as £400,000 a week to stay. Man United could be attempted to formalise their interest. It remains to be seen if Man United could, remains to be seen is the go-to line for I just need to fill the copy out a bit more and I'm going to make some speculative text about what could happen to sort of make it a bit bulkier. So that's absolutely nothing. So that's the line there. The rest is going to be crap. Yeah, Højlund gives all this stuff we all know about, don't we? Kane's wife Kate has been looking for homes in Munich. I saw the exact same line about looking for homes in Paris. She must be being very, very busy. I didn't have small children as well, just flying around looking at homes everywhere. So yeah, that's brilliant. Wow, 10:30 that came out, and Jamie Jackson, interestingly, a Manchester reporter as well. Man United could revive their interest in Harry Kane after being informed that the chairman of Spurs, Daniel Levy, has been told by Joe Lewis he cannot be allowed to run down his contract. It's just, instead of being told Lewis he's not signed, he must be sold. Kane was United's number one target to pull out, before they pulled out. Old Trafford are now pondering a fresh move for a potential fee. Not necessarily a stumbling block. And this has gone really heavy on it, hasn't it? Jeez. Ooh, it's not really a stumbling block. What could be an issue is wage demands. Man United minded not to break their wage structure. Yeah, they're so worried about their wage structure is Man United all the time. I know Eric Ten Hag's got this incentivised contract thing. And just a bunch of fluff about shite that we all know about. So yeah, why, if that was true, and Levy had been informed of that by Joe Lewis, who's about 3 years off 90 years old and has literally no dealings in the club whatsoever. Why are they telling Manchester reporters who are over in America? Why does it come from them? Wouldn't you go to the London reporters and say that? But why the distance? It's almost like Tottenham haven't briefed it, because if you knew of Daniel Levy and the inner workings of Spurs and what's going on behind the scenes, that's a big thing. Communication from the owner to the chairman. That's the sort of thing that a really good reporter covering Spurs would probably get. For it to end up over in Manchester via America or something, it's a little bit peculiar, isn't it? And the fact it's an onslaught one, isn't it? This isn't a line which is digged in 4 bars down. Like, oh, that's quite interesting. Let's give this to every Manchester reporter. Put it out, put it out, put it out. And the trouble what these clubs are facing nowadays, because I do think it's the club, is that no one believes it. People are way too shrewd to this nowadays. They'll see it and go, that's just rubbish. People are just way too shrewd for it. I am interested in it, but it also annoys me a bit because, as I mentioned before, I just kind of want to read about my club and what's going on and what's actually happened. Why are we reading what literally... I mean, I'd be very surprised if this has happened at all, and it's on the back pages of national news. Your national, it's on the fucking Guardian, Telegraph. Like, this would have been made print, which I just find absolutely mind-blowing. So that's the briefing that's been put out. We will go on to our exclusive. It kind of just fleshing out what we said before, really, to be honest. But, you know, this whole thing about Harry Kane. Yeah, Ten Hag would like Harry Kane, but I do have a bit of a Spurs guy, and, you know, completely shot down this idea, this notion about, you know, pressuring Levy getting pressured by Joe Lewis. That's a few years of 90 years old who has seldom dealings in the club. He's not gonna, and I think that the amount of money Levy's made him is like, you know, billions. And he's, you know, he leaves it very much in Levy's hands. So as I say, we kind of knocked down that, which has come out again today. I think other places done it. Yeah, club's owner remains confident. But we'll just mention here about Kane, because we've said this before, you know, there is, you know, it was put to us via just, you know, more manager than the club. Because if you're the club, you know, you could brief this stuff. And also it's like, if I'm a journalist and I am with, let's say, like a big publication, no offence, Football Transfers, but if I'm with the Times or something and I go to the club and I ask them, do you like Harry Kane? And the club know that there's hardly a chance of signing him. Probably the best angle they could say is, no, we're not interested. You know, then, you know, to make it a saga is one of the worst things that can happen. It can, you know, there's so many different facets. But there was a general indication of like confidence from the manager side. But I feel that, you know, you can hear that. And as I'm saying now, it's like, I don't see that happening personally, nor would you. But that's, you know, they thought the deal could be done later down in August if things were sitting right and the player sales and that's what they feel. But whether it'll happen or not. So is he a target, Harry Kane? Like, yes, I guess, but you can be a target, and also, you know, everyone knows it's just very unlikely to happen. Well, we do know he wants a powerhouse number 9. I wouldn't be, you know, I mentioned, someone asked me who do you think they'll go for instead of Kane. Sebastian Haller, Mitrovic is great. I'm not even joking. I think them for 1 or 2 years or something like that might. There's someone of that ilk anyway. There might be another like player out there, but you know, you're pretty. Valovic probably, you know, maybe that could be something. I don't know. I'm just speculating to that kind of player. Traditional powerhouse number 9. Højlund and stuff. I'm not gonna read all this rubbish. You know all this. Just repeating the same thing. Yeah. So you know, people going like, oh, he wants. I mean, I got aggravated, you know, about Ten Hag and Højlund. He wants both, which is true, but he's not going to get both. Like, he wants certainly a Højlund and another number 9. It's not just, not offence to Højlund, but he's just 20 years old. Like, oh, you're going to lead the line for us for the Premier League and Champions League? Of course not. But there's going to be loads of players that will go out. As I mentioned here, Tomine, Fred, Martial. It was said to me 30 million. You know, that's significance, and then the wage bill getting freed up. Alex Telles, Eleganga's gone, Eric Bailly's going, you know, all these things, and let's see what happens with Harry Maguire. I heard some interesting information today about Harry Maguire, but it's not mine to report kind of thing. But let's see what happens with West Ham. And you know, if they do recruit that amount of money and it is like 80 million, who knows who they could get, you know? That's the general consensus. I don't think they're going to get Harry Kane. I would say Harry Kane's a target. I can't see it. Furthermore to that. So this is the club briefing. You know, Simon Stone, who's basically dunked on the subsequent reports, like I'm doing a bit now, but in video format to about 200 people. You know, the line that's been put out has been now Simon Stone has gone and asked that, and the club have shot it down because obviously, as I said before, it's not a good look if a club brief like, oh, we want a target which is unobtainable. So, of course, they're going to say no about Mbappe. I think they probably inquired and just asked a bit. I don't think, they weren't expecting anything. I think it's Kylian Mbappe. So what's the situation around this then, kind of thing? Maybe that happens, and then, but obviously if they're asked did that happen, they're going to say, no, we have nothing in Mbappe. We don't like him. He's rubbish, So that's what comes out thereafter. And reporters have said nowadays, even BBC Sport are happy to go out. Right, that's, that information, I wasn't privy to that. Let's go and ask. Yeah, I knew it was fucking bullshit, bosh, and then send it out. And then, it's just dunking everyone. And I think Fabrizio said something similar as well. Well, he tweets every fucking 20 minutes, doesn't he? So, but he said something about, Harry Kane, it's the focus is on. So I should have prepared this really. Yeah, so let's see, I have muted him because he's quite a lot of him. They're not negotiating for Harry Kane or Mbappe, despite reports. I don't think anyone said they were negotiating for Harry Kane, to be fair, or Mbappe, but okay. The focus remains on the Højlund deal. I'm put it aside, I don't think he gets anything from Man United. I think the Højlund stuff is brief from Atalanta. I don't think he gets much from Man United, which is a big claim to make. But he's just broken the Mbappe story, and the other things, and doing really well with like Saudi Arabia, and he knows so many people. CAA bases in there with IMC Stella, but I don't think Man United he knows too much about. I could be wrong, but I know that it's not just Højlund they're going to go for. We'll see, give it a month and you'll be like, oh, you're wrong, Jack, and he knows more than you about Man United. Like, absolutely fine, but I think this whole Dizzery thing is like Axel Dizzery, and I had a conversation with someone today who is. He's a reporter who covers Monaco in France, and he's like, it's the brother is just so wild with trying to get this move, and also Monaco are like trying to get him over and stuff like that. So I just it's been very confusing. I think the brother might be going around and shouting a bit, kind of thing. Agents have their own agendas and family members and stuff, and so do clubs. We're all at it. Not me, I'm just clean cut. Anyway, so this is Matt Law's piece. But the suggestion that Harry Kane isn't like a target. Well, the line is he's not a target, but also like I think the club would quite like Harry Kane to come in. For what it's worth, by the way, I think they would have stood more of a chance if the takeover went through. It would have been an extra £50 million, but yeah. So, do I actually want to read this? Oh, let's read this shit. Matt Law, Harry Kane's favourite holiday is... Right. This is just a colour piece. Wind down on his beach, blah, 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 I don't care. Lewis did not involve himself in this whole saga last time during the Man City one. Joe Lewis being the owner. This is what Lewis has paid Levy handsomely over the course of more than 20 years. And he's largely been a hands-off owner. It's basically what we said earlier, this morning. Lunchtime, by 12 minutes. Source indicated Levy cannot convince a striker to extend. Oh, that's a different one. It's madness. They're dunking on their own fucking paper. He set a world record by selling him, and all this money he's made. Joe Lewis. The announcement of don't give a fuck. One high-profile source who has worked with Levy and Tottenham for well over a decade told Sport he never gets involved in football-related decisions, which why reports of him ordering Levy to sell Kane if he will not sign a new contract haven't been met with caution. I really should have plugged this a bit more, R1, because this is basically the line. I mean, he's done it in a different way, but this is the line. It's better, obviously, much more information, but Lewis would presumably be interested in whether or not Kane's sale exit would impact the value of Tottenham. I don't care about this. Alongside claims that Lewis does not want Kane to leave on a free transfer. Suggestions may not have not ruled out rekindling their interest. Levy has been clear the English rival will have to pay considerably more. It's not just with Lewis, whom Kane's have developed a relationship with. They're also known to get on to William. I'm just fucking reading this shit. I don't care. It's way too. It might be really good, but for me trying to like relate stuff to you, reading that amount of like detail is a bit too much. So yeah, it's again like I've never seen a newspaper do an article as a splash, and then the different report the next day basically dunks on that own article. It's really strange nowadays, and I've gone about dunking before. It's just hell out there, man. Everyone's at it. Everyone's at the dunking. Everyone's just doing it. The Harry Kane stuff. And it's almost... I don't like it because I don't want to get dunked on because I'm not considerably large. But I also find, did I retweet saying earlier, this, from Barcelona, because there was stuff there about Barcelona had inquired over Mbappe. Barcelona, they're sure they have nothing to do with the rumours linking the club to Mbappe. They believe it's a tactic by PSG to put pressure on Madrid. You're like, fuck me, man. Like, when does it end? When can I just read a news story and be like, that's happening? Go on BBC News, like, look at the weather, a weather article. Oh, it's going to rain tomorrow, probably. Or like probably like your local paper. Oh, look, they're setting up a lemonade stall over like near Bigley's farm, whatever. Oh, that's happening. What time does it start? 7 o'clock. Oh, that's interesting. This is just like what? There's no way to determine what's right and what's wrong, which is dangerous, really, isn't it? I mean, not in an actual dangerous way, but like in a way of like, how can you trust anything anyone ever says in this? How is it possible? How, a briefing about, Barcelona, they're like Mbappe. Oh, but no, actually, Barcelona think that PSG is doing that as a tactic. But even then, are you going like, well, did Barcelona, like, are they doing like a double bluff? How do you determine what's right and what's wrong? I mean, I know the Barcelona one, you have no money. It's just ridiculous. But it's hard to navigate. I do have a level of interest in it. But I think that's probably because I'm a reporter. But as a fan... I find it really hard to just work out. But what I think these people need to realise, the people who are working in PR, these big corporations like Man United, the newspaper editors, which are for some reason signing off, dunking on a story they did less than 24 hours ago. Like James Dunker, he does a story, ironically he's Dunker, but actually then Matt Law, and it's Smams on top, and you kind of think, when's this going to end? Because it's not only this. Like, I'm an amateur. Like I've been a qualified journalist for 4 years, I think. Only in football for like this a year, like of like doing this kind of thing, and I've conned on with a lot. And I don't know. I haven't got a degree in dissecting media story. I don't know. I have some level of professionalism, I suppose, being a reporter, but. Like, and people realise it. You see all the time, that's from the agent. That's just like a mole. That's a Man United mole. And it's just like absurd. I don't know where I'm going with this, but it just blows my mind. The level of agenda and just how you cannot trust anything. That, even me to a degree. But I am truthful in the videos. I'll tell you that. I'm truthful in the videos and when I unpack things. And, I can still also throw shade and like, well, that's what... he is a target, but that comes from the manager side. But are they actually a target? So you can get your own degree of what's going on. But this is just something else. Let me know your thoughts and stuff. Do you like it? Do you like the games and that? Do you just sick of it? You just want to know what's happening? Yeah. All right, guys. I'll leave it there. Thanks so much for joining me. Give us a sub and all that, yeah?